It has been well over a decade since the Pirelli World Challenge descended on Portland International Raceway. In that amount of time, certainly many things have changed in the championship. One thing that hasn't is Portland International Raceway. It still presents the same challenges, including the legendary and infamous festival curves. That will all be dealt with as the Raceway as part of the legendary 58th annual Rose Cup races. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Calvin Fish. Gino Carini will be covering the action down in pit lane for this dual-class race. And, Cal, over the course of the years here, one thing that's a big story here is a lot of people have never even seen this track. The learning curve has been pretty much vertical just to get to this race.
Well, great anticipation in terms of returning to Portland, Greg, but with that comes anxiety about not knowing the racetrack. Only a handful of drivers in the paddock in total have seen this place before, and the notebooks for the car setups, well, they're pretty much non-existent.
And let's take a look with that at our Porsche race analysis. And, of course, the track just under 2 miles in length, 12 corners. It's a short track, but it seems to feel and race a little bit bigger than that, obviously. But as you can see, the heat haze here, Cal, that's going to be a big story today. Not so much this morning, but as the day unfolds, it could be really, really intense.
Yeah, it's going to really ramp up close to triple digits here this afternoon, so that'll certainly be a factor in the later races today.
And there you take a look at one of my favorite pieces of racing real estate in the country, that very quick turn 10-11 complex, a hugely fast change of direction that leads into the crucial final corner. We talk about the festival curves, but let's not forget that 4, 5, 6, 7 complex just decreases radius, lots of different driving lines through there. It's a challenge.
It is, and that new turn 7 has been reprofiled since I last raced here, certainly, and that created some action here yesterday in the earlier events.
And that is the run down the winding back straight. It is flat out, to be sure, but it just keeps on bending. Just lots of little unique things about this track. One of them is as you run down that back straight, sometimes on a nice day you can look up and see Mount Hood. And that's a pretty nice thing as well. Great to be here as part of the Rose Cup Festival. Taking a look at the field, getting set to go on this one. And interestingly, the first race of the weekend, setting the times for the second race. And Michael Lewis got his 6th fast lap in 7 races, Cal. Just an amazing story. He'll be on pole.
Yeah, he's really got a lot of speed, and he's adjusting to front-wheel drive machinery for the very first time in his career, but what an adaptation he's made here. Certainly led very well by the Brian Herder Autosport Group. He and Mark Wilkins certainly been very strong this season.
It has been. There's an interesting story developing as well. We'll talk more about that in just a minute, but Michael Cooper sliding into the second Honda, and he has been a revelation, and not a surprise, but a revelation. And in the Touring Car A category, even with problems in the first race, it was Eric Powell that still set the fastest lap, and will start on the pole for that one. There you see the Touring Car R, the TCR field, and these things, I don't know how else to put it, they are pocket rockets. These things are small, but incredible performance, Cal.
They really are. Great downforce, great handling cars. They're front-wheel drive, little 2-liter turbo motors, but they handle more like a rear-wheel drive car. Great balance. The drivers love them.
Yeah, and their times are within a second around this track of the GTS times, which gives you an idea of their performance level. And they have been an awful lot of fun as an addition to the championship for Pirelli World Challenge this year. Touring Car A, which has always been a lot of fun, of course, we'll be running with them in this race in a separate class. There'll be a little bit of a split for the start. But I'll tell you, when these Touring Car R cars catch the TCA field, things get very interesting. It certainly proved to be a huge moment in the race last year. So we've just received word the engines have come to life, and we are ready to get this 8th round of the championship underway, starting, of course, with an installation lap. And remember that they do have a standing start. And that leads us, Cal, to our Pirelli storylines. And the first one has to be Honda versus Hyundai, just tight points battles, manufacturer and driver.
It really is very tight. Hyundai have the lead in the manufacturer's title. The driver's championship lead right now is Ryan Eversley, and late in the going yesterday, he was going to boost that to 10 points, but he got caught up in traffic. Wilkins took advantage of it. Then his teammate Lewis got around him as well. Now it's only a 4-point separation between Eversley, who continues to lead, from Mark Wilkins.
And there you see the orange car coming into frame. That is Matt Fasnacht driving the Murillo Racing Fuji Audi. Possible breakout weekend for Matt. He showed great pace yesterday.
Well, they're taking that DSG gearbox off that car and put the racing transmission on. That's certainly giving him a lot of pace. Can he break through and take a position away from one of these powerhouse cars? I saw one of the Hyundais there momentarily dropping back. See him there, Greg, in the background.
Yeah.
Ain't sure which one of the two cars it is.
That's a huge development. It's the 99 of Wilkins, the winner from yesterday. That's a huge development, Cal.
Yeah, I wonder if he's just trying to do a reset with the electronics. They've had a couple of mechanical issues at VIR, one apiece for both the 99 and the 98 machine. Coming off a victory yesterday. No warm-up, no track action since he took the victory. Right now, he sits idle at the side of the racetrack. Huge drama here in the championship.
And it will be interesting. There's a certain point where you cannot reclaim your grid spot, and obviously he was going to be starting in that second row. He may end up having to start at the back of at least the TCR field if he's able to get this car back and underway. Obviously, this is going to potentially delay the start just a little bit, as he's sitting right there at the entry to turn number 4.
Got to somehow try and get some life back into the car before he goes a lap down here.
Looks like they are going to be giving this field, as a result, they'll give them another installation lap while they deal with Mark Wilkins. And while they're dealing with Mark Wilkins, we're going to take a quick break here from Portland International Raceway in the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Portland. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us here on our live webcast and on SiriusXM. Great to have you with us here in the second and final day of action of the Pirelli World Challenge return to Portland International Raceway. Those of you that have been with us all season long, you know, on this second day as we are doing this call, we are also building our CBS Sports Network enhanced coverage show that will air a little bit later, about a week and a half out. We'll give you those numbers as well. But there will be times when we're pausing and off mic. We'll certainly try and ride the car sounds a little bit for you to enjoy as we have discussions with producers and directors and the like. And we'll be back with you on the web as often as we possibly can. And this is obviously a huge and frustrating development, no doubt. And the fact that they had to hook that car up and tow it tells you that there's something pretty seriously amiss, Cal.
Yeah, I was saying he's going to go a lap down. I don't think you can go a lap down until you actually get the green flag for the race, but I don't think there's any way that they can get him back to affect any fix on that race car. This is a big drama, and the other thing is, Greg, to score any sort of points, you have to score 50% of the laps completed by the overall leader here today. So their only hope is to get the car back to the paddock, fix it, and get Mark Wilkins back out there and get to that 50% point in the race.
All right, and Gina Carini down the pits just jumped on the radio to us and said they think it's a fuel pressure issue, so they're actually going to take him to the pit spot and see if they can't get it resolved, so at least be able to get him out. Once you do that, you're committed to starting from the pit lane, so he'll be at the back of the field to do it, but at least it's something.
Yeah, and as I said, the key is to get 50% and get some points. As we saw Lewis earlier in the season at VIR, didn't get to that 50% mark, and now he's on the back foot in the championship. Big break for Ryan Eversley here.
And welcome back to Portland International Raceway as our TCR and TCA field has completed their installation laps and will be taking their positions for the standing start. The time that the second spot on the grid, well, actually the third spot inside of the second row, will remain open. Mark Wilkins, while we were in break, they got out, had to hook him up to a tow strap, and are taking him to pit lane, reported potential fuel issues. So there's an opportunity again for Matt Fosnot to be able to do something in that orange Murillo machine. Can't wait for this standing start. And as always, folks, take a look off to the right of the screen. You see that red wheel and light board. That'll come on, and when those lights go out is when we go racing. 40-minute timed event for the two classes, TCR and TCA, 8th round of the championship. I'm guessing they are now, okay, we're into the 5-second, the yellow lights. Now, red lights are on, revs come up, we're racing. Round number 8 on Fosnot. Absolutely dead set, trying to get away. He is getting swarmed out.
The big opening there, didn't get it right, but look at this. Ryan Eversley immediately to the front, slots inside our Paulson and Michael Lewis. Ideal opening lap here for Ryan Eversley, his closest pursuer in the championship. Mark Wilkins is back in the paddock. Could be a big day for Ryan.
couple of cars having an issue back in the festival curves, but getting through. Lewis looked like he had a solid run out of the festival curves, but of course Eversley covering that. And sitting third now is Michael Cooper, who I had said, bit of a revelation, not a surprise with his skill set, but being thrown into this car right before qualifying, he's there.
Yeah, Adam Merzon was supposed to be campaigning that number 44 this weekend, had to get back home, and they had to fill the seat, and they brought in Michael Cooper. He did a great job qualifying up in the top 5, almost on the podium here yesterday, and now he's going to play wingman to Ryan Eversley, who leads this championship.
And Cooper looking very racy, a little bit of a margin now, back to the number 71 of Michael Hertzen, who, with the problems for Fosnot, got a great launch off the line in his FCP Euro by HRD VW Golf right there. And then he's got Mason Filippi in the similar car right behind him. That is the TFB machine. As they feed onto the front straight, once again, that's how quick a lap unfolds here at Portland.
Yeah, Filippi's had a nice run, a nice opening lap here, starting to put the pressure on, trying to get inside for that 4th position. But up front, Ryan Eversley, will his psyche change? He realized that championship last night got really tight with the win for Wilkins, but right now, he has to be thinking big picture. If Michael Lewis has pace, maybe he just has to think about letting him go, just biding his time here today.
And in TCA, look at this battle here, the two teammates, Eric Powell and Jeff Sexton, round 7 winner after Powell had his issues. The two Tech Sport Subarus running 1-2.
Tomo, he's way down the order. There he is in 5th position, our championship leader by now, 18 points. After problems for Powell here yesterday and in the last rounds of the championship, blown this championship lead wide open as Tomo just slides that Honda through turn 4.
Well, the interesting thing is he's the one car that is a front drive car, which in terms of standing starts, not always the most effective drivetrain lineup for a standing start, and I think he suffered a bit.
Yeah, he certainly did, and why you get that is when you jump on the gas pedal, it throws all the weight backwards and off the front driving wheel, so there's the tendency to get a little bit of wheel spin there. So he now starts to put the pressure on. Gronke there, who's had a good start after a disappointing day yesterday.
Yeah, it was running quite well yesterday, had a mechanical issue, and ended up parked for the rest of the race. So he's got some motivation to get after it here today and put in a great run. And so far, he is doing exactly that as he's up to the 4th spot. So impressive for PJ. Back to the overall TCR battle. And as you can see, the 43 of Eversley continues to lead Lewis. Cooper has drifted backward just a little bit. Huge battle here, though, for the 4th spot between Hertzen and the 71. Philippi and that multicolored number 12 Schmib.com VW.
Great little battle here. This is fun to watch. We talked about who could break through and take on those big powerhouse teams from Real Time and Brian Herder Autosport. We thought it'd be Fosnot, but right now with that poor start that he had, these two guys filling the closest positions right now.
Well, and one of the reasons we've been seeing that speed from the Orange 74 of Fosnot, they made a huge change to the gearbox in that car, going to a full-on racing gearbox, but he's never done a standing start with that car.
Yeah, great point. Yeah. Certainly caught him out there as he's now on the recovery mode here. He's got pace though as he now looks to the inside, potentially has to slot back in. Goes to the high side. Can he swing around the cushion there? That's a brave move. He can make it stick. Thinks better of it, just tucks back in.
And as we watch this battle, of course, all eyes on what's happening with Mark Wilkins. Gino, what's the word from pit lane?
The latest that I'm getting is that they have a fuel pump or a fuel pressure issue. At this time, they don't know if they're taking him back to the paddock spot or bringing him here to the pit spot. So it's still up in the air. They're going to try to get some points out of this one, salvage something.
All right, thanks very much. Boy, what a crushing blow after a tremendous day yesterday for that team. Back to the battle with Fosnot right now as he is trying to work over the number 73 of Dwight Merriman. That's a Heinlein Racing Development VW Golf GTR. Having a good, solid scrap here. And you can just see Fosnot's got some speed here, but one of the things, these are really aero-dependent cars, and you get in the wash of that car in front of these cars, you feel it.
You really do, and this is a difficult racetrack to pass on anyway. One of the openings is here, this reprofile turn 7. You see there, Merriman, very wide entry, which is the ideal racing line, but it makes it really inviting for the guy who's right behind you to try and poke his nose down the inside.
So that's one of the interesting things in turn 7 is it's easier for the following driver often to be able to do something there. There's the battle that continues to rage for the 4th spot, the 71 of Hertzen and Filippi. And then we drop back to Merriman and Fosnot as that stout battle continues. Powell and Sexton and Mosey Uretsky continue to run 1, 2, 3 in the touring car A class. But in TCR, it's Eversley, Lewis, and Cooper. A little bit of a layout here while we're in our CBS Sports Network production mode. So back with you here on the web. Wanted to give you just a quick reminder. This race will be airing Sunday the 29th of July at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the CBS Sports Network, the enhanced coverage with the onboards and such. It's Sunday, July 29th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So you might want to make a note of that. Good look here at this intra-team battle between Eric Powell, the pole sitter, and yesterday's winner, Jeff Sexton. Great run for Jeff yesterday, and getting his first win on the season. And then there's the Mazda Mosey Uretsky, and now, at least for O'Gorman, he's been able to get around Gronke and has been able to pick up that 4th spot. We'll pause. We'll be back in just a little bit. The CBS Sports Call. Of course, it's always a doubleheader weekend. Let's take a look at some highlights from round 7 of the championship. And Ryan Eversley was on pole, Cal. Got a decent launch at the start, but Mark Wilkins took a serious look on the outside.
Yes, he was hounded by those two Hyundais, and Mark Wilkins in the 99 machine looks to the inside into turn 2. A little bit of a stack up there at the back of the pack. JT Kupal has to take to the escape route.
Yeah, just got tapped, and that forced him wide. Meanwhile, Tom O'Gorman got to the lead. That's what he needed to do, knowing the speed of Eric Powell in the Tech Sport Subaru, but it didn't last long.
It did, and the pole sitter immediately responds and gets back to the lead.
Unfortunately for Eric Powell, after being able to open up a bit of a margin, a bit of contact with one of the TCR machines during the race, damage to that car, he ended up done.
Yeah, that was big for Tom O'Gorman as the championship lead was blown out at the end of the day.
And then going back as to what was unfolding in the TCR category, traffic caught out Ryan Eversley, and Mark Wilkins able to jump and get to the lead. Michael Lewis sitting there in 3rd, saw opportunity later on in the lap.
Turn 7, that big wide entry. He forces that Hyundai down to the inside. Look at the action coming off. Eversley has to take to the grass. The position is gone.
And as a result, Wilkins able to open up a margin, and at the checker, a 1-2 for Hyundai. Absolutely fantastic. The crew elated. And for Mark Wilkins, a huge step back into this championship. He knew it as he got out of that car, and as he climbed up on the podium, he was quite literally soaking the moment in. It was absolutely fantastic. And there was also some serious drama at the end of the TCA race, Cal.
There really was. Tom O'Gorman taking advantage of Eric Powell's retirement. He had the lead till the late going, and then Sexton, the Tech Sport teammate to Powell, he takes victory, his first one of the season.
Absolutely. He's had some podiums, but he breaks through for a win. Absolutely is ecstatic. And we've seen already that he's been able to carry that momentum, staying right with Eric Powell in this race so far, having a good run. Up front, right now, the number 43 of Eversley. This is what he did in the race yesterday, Cal. Once he established that lead, he was able to gap the field a bit.
He did, and certainly the Hyundai stayed very strong in the late race going, so maybe a little bit of a tire degradation issue there for Eversley, but the traffic was really what he fumbled across. But you'd have to think what's going on inside his helmet, Greg. The team will have told him Wilkins is out. The closest championship contender is out of this race, so right now he's in a prime position. If he keeps this margin right now, just keep hitting your marks, but as Lewis gets close to him, potentially later in the race, what does he then do? How defensive does he get? He doesn't want to throw it all away.
Well, it's interesting. One of the things we were sort of mulling over was, would there be team orders for that Brian Herter Autosport Hyundai team? Well, that's been settled with Wilkins out, and so they can just send Lewis and have him attack. But exactly, and traffic once again is going to hold up the number 43 of Eversley. That's the number 10 of Jenny Gannett, and that allows Lewis to get close.
Well, that's almost cut and paste from yesterday in terms of Lewis trying to attack Eversley in this very corner. He did it yesterday. Bides his time a little bit more today. Wasn't quite the opening that he saw yesterday, as he felt that Eversley was vulnerable.
And as a result, too, Cooper got hung up just a little bit there in turn 7 and onto the back straight. so he's drifted back a little bit. Jenny Gannett, by the way, in her first season of pro racing, and had her best race to date yesterday. Just a nice job in that Ian Lacey Racing G3 Mazda that she is running. But up front again, it looks as though right now Eversley, even though he got hung up a little bit, he was able to quickly generate another second gap here. And as we go back now to TCA, Eric Powell having a good run, but unable to shake a well-motivated Jeff Sexton. As they say, oftentimes in racing, once you get that first one, then it's a lot more confidence-inspiring to go after that second one. But the question, of course, Gino Carini, is what happened with Powell yesterday? How healthy is that car?
Well, you know, we talked about, Greg, briefly. You mentioned his motivation and talked about Sexton's motivation, but I think that Eric Powell may be the most motivated driver out there today. I'm sitting here with Cody Gilbert, their crew chief. What happened yesterday? He's got a pole position car. What's he saying out there?
So yesterday we had like a 9-second lead, and one of the TCR cars unfortunately got into him and took us out of the race. Today we're looking to get that back. We're going for that first place, and we have Jeff Sexton right behind. We're looking for those 2 podium positions.
Outstanding. Is there any communication right now with Eric, or is he just kind of head down and not saying much, or is he talking to you guys?
Eric's just got his head in the game, looking for that win.
Outstanding. Well, thank you very much. Good luck to you guys.
Big question is going to be whether Sexton will support his championship charge. Certainly, Powell needs every point he can get. He's now dropped 18 points back of Tom O'Gorman. He'll get the bonus point for fast lap and pole position today, so it'll cut that down to 17, but nonetheless, he needs every point he can get as O'Gorman is still struggling to get through this field. He's up to the 4th position and closing in on Uretsky.
Well, this is interesting, too. This is one of those conundrums that we see so often this day in motorsports. Eric Powell is part of tech sport. Sexton is a customer. Just how exactly, talk about team orders. Yeah, that's a whole different scenario for team orders. But, yeah, you bring up a good point. O'Gorman has dropped that margin now to Uretsky to less than a second, about 7. So 7/10 of a second, so a good one. And there's a look at the number 69. That is Anthony Girazzi in the Highland Racing Development Audi Sport RS3, the European Granite and Marble Services machine. He's our Optima Batteries Best Standing Start Award winner, up 3 spots on the opening lap. And again, right now, currently sits in the 8th spot. So congratulations to him. That's one of our prestigious specialty awards. And Anthony Girazzi doing a superb job.
We talk about who's going to be the first driver to break through and grab a podium position away from the Powers teams. Well, he almost did it at Coda, remember. Then he exceeded track limits very late in the going there that handed that podium position back to Ryan Eversley. So he's certainly a man to look out for.
He is, and just a great competitor and a great person to have in the paddock here. And there we go, the overall leader, Eversley, getting into the TCA traffic. Eric Powell opened the door, let him through. Sexton got a little bit of a run, and Cooper now has an opportunity as he got a run on Lewis, and they're going to deal with this traffic.
Oh, look at this. TCA, the meat and the TCR sandwich right there. Cooper had the momentum, tucks it to the inside, and this is exactly what Real Time wanted Michael Cooper to do. Put the pressure on those 2 Hyundai boys. Wilkins is out of the picture right now, and as you look at the clock, they've got 6 minutes essentially to get Wilkins back out there if they are able to get to that Hyundai that has the fuel pressure issues. Otherwise, he'll score 0 points here today. You have to do 50% of the laps, and essentially, if you look at the clock, we can't tell how many laps Elise will do, but if you do it by the clock, he's got minimal time left to get that job done.
Yeah, he does, and that traffic has settled things a little bit with some gaps first, second, and third in the overall TCR category order. And, of course, Powell and Sexton continuing their great battle in TCA. And back with you here on the web, we've got a waving yellow. And I'm trying to determine what corner station that would be. Back just a little bit. This is just past, that's into the festival curves. Yeah, exactly. And now they pull it. I wonder if that was Fosnot. Didn't see what happened, but we saw him just now drive away.
Great battle there between the 2 speed cars.
They just are, right now, they have the measure over Mosey Uretsky, sitting in third to the tune of about 5 seconds at this stage. We're going to pause. We'll be right back with our CBS Sports Network call. Welcome back as the battles continue here in the TCR TCA 8th round of the Pirelli World Challenge Championship. And there is Tom O'Gorman, and he's feeling the heat right now from Anthony Girazzi. That is two different classes. O'Gorman's focus is on that blue Mazda up front from Mosey Uretsky, and he is sitting in third. O'Gorman fourth at this stage. That's the Murillo racing car for Mosey Uretsky. And this point swing, you know, every point counts in these championships. But I'm watching O'Gorman, and boy, the back end of that Grid Life Track Night America Honda looks awfully loose, Cal.
Yeah, it really does. Right from the opening lap, you saw him kind of sliding through the corners, so you'd have to wonder whether the track conditions are not suiting him. He said, I really have nothing for the Subarus this weekend. He had a big points day, so he's kind of in damage control at this point of the game in terms of not doing anything silly and throwing it all away. And right now, if he finished where he did, it would be a 6-point game for Powell in this championship chase.
And now you see, ooh, it looked just for a second like Eversley just balked.
He really did. Lewis is all over him right now. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe a little slip that we couldn't see on the screen for Eversley, but definitely slow coming through turn 6.
Lewis now just, as you said, on his rear deck after that moment, and Cooper not that far back at this stage. And they're on the back of Matt Fosnot, who's had a problematic race. However, he's had a fast race. His best lap, a 1:19.9, one of only 4 cars, including the lead trio, to get beneath 120. So Fosnot's got speed, but he just hasn't had the race fall the way he wants with some issues. And classic move there to just get out of the way.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Lewis really got a great exit there off the final corner, turn 12. He's putting the pressure on Eversley. Eversley stretches it just muzzly here down this front straightaway to get towards the brake zone, which takes the pressure off and he can hit his normal line. Got Lewis there bicycling through the festival curves, up over the curves there a little bit, totally legit, not exceeding any track limits, but he wants to be close enough to Eversley if he has another slip through this section of the racetrack.
And he gets through the festival extremely well, Lewis does. And yeah, it was interesting what may have happened with Eversley there. You know, did he inadvertently just grab too many gears and suddenly had no drive?
Right through that corner, turn 6 on the previous lap. Lewis just seems to be hooked up there a little bit better than Ryan at this stage of the game anyway. And I know Ryan loves to win races and loves to win for Honda, but you'd have to think he's thinking big picture. And if he sees the nose of that Hyundai get to the inside on one of these corners, he may not be super aggressive in trying to defend, thinking about the big picture in the championship.
These cars through this 10-11 corner complex. That is such a fast section of track with a great flow with the aero on these cars. They really attack.
Eversley's super quick through turn 11. He uses that little bit of an access road as kind of the pit lane entrance for the support paddock there. But I feel like he's really then having to gather it all back up as coming off of turn 12. Lewis looks a little bit quicker, but he's not able to really pull anything in the draft there on the Honda down into the brake zone.
Through the festival one more time, and Lewis gets through there so well.
Eversley looks to the inside. He's probing now, Greg. He wants the lead of this race. Eversley's got to be thinking overtime about what does he do.
Well, we've been wondering ever since we saw that little bobble, for lack of a better term, by Ryan Eversley. Is there something amiss with that Honda? Gino, what are they saying in the pits?
Hey, Ryan. Well, I'm sitting here with Nathan Vanoa, the crew chief of Real Time Racing. They're talking about possibly a little bobbling in Ryan and his driving and maybe some debris on the track. What are the challenges that Ryan's having right now?
Well, I think right now lap traffic is the biggest problem. The TCA guys are, have their own race, and we understand that, but they need to be a little bit more courteous with us trying to get through them. But all in all, we got a good race car, and hopefully have a good race. Cooper's doing an awesome job for us.
Thanks a lot, Nathan. Good luck to you guys.
Well, that's telltale enough, isn't it? As obviously they haven't heard from Eversley, so he didn't report a problem, but that car looks to be sliding around quite a bit.
Yeah, and I saw that line again. He really hustles through turn 11, that fast right-hander, and it just uses all of the access road there, but I really feel he's then having to slow it way down to gather the car back up for that final corner. I tell you what, you get late in the going, if If Lewis can get any closer down this straightaway, he may start looking to the inside for the brake zone for the festival curves.
Just look at the run that Lewis gets through that left-hander in the festival curve. He makes up a whole car length there alone. Problem is, turn 4, it's not a tight in where you can just try some late braking maneuver. It just sort of feeds into the corner, but boy, he's there.
He is there, and the best thing he can do for his teammate, who was close to Eversley in the championship, is take the big points away, help the course somewhat. Look at him, he's right on his tail here. He may think about a move to the inside. Eversley protects. Cooper's right there as well, so Lewis's biggest problem now is he can't just think about focus forward. He's got to look in those rear view mirrors as well, because Cooper is in a position where he could take advantage if he opens up one of these radiuses too much.
You get a little bit of a feeling that Ryan Eversley may not have the happiest car out there right now, and that is allowing Lewis and Michael Cooper to be right on his 6 in full attack mode in TCA. Powell and Sexton for Tech Sport and the Subarus run 1-2. Mosey Uretsky and the impressive Murillo Racing Mazda sits third. Pretty short layout here for the folks that are joining us here on the web and on SiriusXM. Once again, great to have you with us, as we are delighted to be back here in the Pacific Northwest in the Portland International Raceway Rose Cup races. We will be right back with you on CBS. Into the festival curves go our leaders in TCA, the 2 team cars, the Subarus from Tech Sport. Eric Powell actually having to defend just a little bit on Jeff Sexton going into those festival curves. That may be the answer we were wondering about the team orders.
Yeah, I don't think there are any team orders. Powell believes that Sexton has this pace and the ability and the direction to just go for the lead, go for the win. And he is having to defend from his very fast young teammate.
It's fun to watch these cars, absolutely identical machines, essentially. And Jeff Sexton, after that win, he's had podiums this year, but getting that win, you can just see it has him lit, and he has got that motivation. And the two of them working together incredibly well, even though they're battling just a little bit, because their margin now back to Mosey Uretsky and the rest of the field is 10 seconds at this point. Uretsky has O'Gorman now all over him in that battle for third, the last spot on the podium. And for Tom O'Gorman, of course, a huge eye on the points. P.J. Gronke sits in that 5th spot right now. But those two lads having a strong, strong battle. Here's that battle for third, Cal.
Yeah, it is really tightening up. It was down to just 4/10 across the stripe last time by. And Tomo, he thinks he's got a healthy lead of 18 coming into this race today. Well, certainly with the pole position and leading this race, Powell can take a big chunk out of that. If O'Gorman cannot get by Uretsky, and Uretsky's doing a great job in the MX-5 Cup car, just holding him off.
Yeah, he truly is. And then you can see P.J. Gronke in the blue Tech Sport machine. In the back, we have a new leader as Sexton able to pull the pass off. He took a look, but look at Powell's exit speed, Cal, out of that, and that may have been a fast in, slow out move for Sexton.
Yeah, absolutely. And Powell there looks to the outside. Sexton gives him a little bit of racing room. That's what you'd expect. No team orders, but plenty of discipline there.
Yeah, Sexton's feeling it, isn't he? Here's another look at it.
Just gets the draft, obviously got a good exit shot off of turn 12, slides it down to the inside. That then compromises your line. Eric just squares it up and gets on the power early, straightens his hand and gets that acceleration. Decides to take the long way around.
And you can see the racecraft there. The minute Sexton went way shallow in there, you could see immediately Powell swung to the left to open up that arc into the corner. And just great racing between these two at this stage. Sexton showing the nose a little bit there. You got to be up alongside him before that spot where Powell showed the nose to have anything work there for you. But, boy, he is good through this last sequence of corners.
He really is. It looks like Powell's having to use a lot more of the road there. He's really working the wheel there, trying to keep the car underneath him. So Sexton's car certainly looks a little bit stronger handling-wise.
Powell there able to just get a little bit of a gap. That's about as comfortable a gap as he's had. Sexton looks to the inside, but now we're near close enough at this stage. Powell knew it. It just stayed as far left as he could. Through the festival they go.
A lot of confidence in that number 89 machine right now, coming off the great win yesterday. Got a little bit lucky there with Powell obviously getting taken out. And look at this. O'Gorman all over the back of Uretsky there as the TCR machines fly through.
Yeah, that traffic. And I mean, once you're in the festival curves, there's nothing you can do being one of the TCA cars. If you've got that fast traffic behind you, at a certain point, you've got to turn. And you can't hit this, we say, the disappear button. And it involved those TCR leaders once again, but O'Gorman just has not yet been able to figure a way by Mosey Uretsky. He was impressive yesterday, more so today, in that Murillo Racing Mazda.
Yeah, very much so, and Tomo's up on the wheel right now. One of the disciplines they use in terms of maximizing the tire usage is put the fronts on the back of the cars for vice versa for race 2, and I wonder if that's what's going on. He kind of used those fronts up yesterday, he's now got them on the back, but it's not giving him a lot of grip in the rear end of that Honda, potentially.
And watch him rotate. Every time he turns, yeah, the back
looks
end
like
is,
fun.
Yeah.
Look at that slide.
You almost think he's done some ice racing in his day.
Oh, look at that. Uretsky defends, pinches it down to the inside. Tomo will get a little bit of a run here.
And Mosey knows that Tomo got that exit speed right down the middle of the track. That's absolutely fine. Does Tomo try something? Realizes he compromised his entry like you had talked about before, so pops back to the outside.
Up front, Powell continues to lead from his young teammate. Sexton is staying right there, recognizing anything can happen in one of these races. They have to deal with the traffic. It's not just the TCR cars, you know, having to deal with not being out fumbled. Sometimes you can take advantage when those TCR machines are coming through right now, and it suddenly opens up the door. Powell's got to be very much on his toes here in terms of not letting the TCR cars through, and allowing Sexton through at the same time.
Eversley whistles by them both. Lewis is going to be able to get through before they get to the 1011S. Question is, what about Cooper? Yep, he's been able to get through. Nice job there by Sexton, who could have moved over but left that door open a little bit to let Cooper slide through. I'm not sure he would have done that if Sexton would have been a lot closer to Powell there, but he wasn't, so Powell was able to let Cooper slip through.
Well, if you get too stubborn and too aggressive, it basically hurts you, as Sexton, another great run off of turn 12, very close to his teammate. They come down this front stretch.
Here he goes, and again, Powell has to defend to the middle of the track. I know that Sexton was quite close enough that time.
Lewis again, the hounding Hyundai right behind Eversley.
Long day Hyundai, like that.
On Sunday.
On Sunday.
Could be a fun day.
Well, he's had a couple wins, and of course he'll get another one day. All right, we pretty much beat that to death.
Yeah, we'll put that to bed.
Okay. And you just wonder if Cooper, you know, when he first got in that car for qualifying, he just burned the tires off it. He's got front drive experience, but he said these are different. The power in these cars is just amazing. So you wonder now if Cooper has just been laying back, not pushing too hard, saving the tires. He's savvy, and see if he's got something at the end here. We have Sexton and Powell, and that was a pass for the lead.
Sexton got in front of him, so now Powell's trying to come back at him through the long back stretch, gets back to the inside. I think we saw a double pass for the lead right there. In terms of Sexton having it, and then Powell back to the front.
Well, it almost looks like maybe Sexton just tried that move into a turn 7 and got way tight to the inside, and that just kills the exit. And Powell was able to jump on the throttle and get back around. Boy, Sexton is incredibly close once again. While we're watching this battle, let's check into the pits quickly with Gino.
Hey, Greg. Cal, I just did talk to the tech support guys again, and obviously there's a hood pin that keeps malfunctioning on Sexton's car. It's clearly causing him problems with drag and aerodynamics because Eric Powell just drove around him on a straightaway. The guys at tech support are looking at me like, we're just having really bad luck with hood pins and not a great weekend. So I'm hoping that they get this handled. Race control has not contacted them at all.
Yeah, and look, the other one looks fairly solid, Gino, and so it's just that left corner that comes up, and yeah, it's going to be an aero issue. That time, though, Sexton, got the job done and then defended properly down into turn 4. Now we'll see what he does in turn 7.
Yeah, great point by Gino, though. It's certainly going to help him under brake. It's almost like a parachute there, but when he gets on this long backstretch, if that hood starts to lift, it's going to kill his straightaway speed and allow Powell to maybe take advantage one more time. The big concern for the drivers is if the other one breaks, suddenly that hood will just come straight up. He'll be blind, essentially, with the hood in front of him.
And that time I thought Sexton defended a little unnecessarily going into turn 7, and that compromised his exit again. And that should let Powell slip by. He's just got a great run, and indeed he does. So Powell back to the lead in TCA over Sexton and Uretsky. Up front, Eversley, Lewis, and Cooper continue their mesmerizing battle. Back with you here on the web while we're in our break for CBS Sports Network, and this is just a fascinating battle between the teammates. And as I mentioned, it looked like Sexton had enough of a margin going into turn 7 on that last lap after he grabbed the lead. He really didn't need to defend at all, and he really shallowed up his entry. And you could see Powell immediately opened up everything, got to the throttle earlier, and these cars being so evenly matched with the momentum, you get that little loss coming onto that long back straight. Powell's got a long time to just use that extra momentum to slip through.
Well, it's such a unique corner, Greg. If you take the traditional racing line through there, you really open up the door to the inside. So once you have the lead, you then, it's a bit of a mind game. What do? Do you take the best line to get exit speed, or do you open up the door at the same time by doing that? So he went in the other direction, and certainly it cost him down this long back stretch.
And he's also got a pair of Liqui-Moly VWs that are quickly closing here. Those are the two FCP Euro by HRD machines in the hands of Hertzen and Vincent that are coming up on the back, then Mason Philippi, and then Girazzi. So they're going to be very mindful here. I would think at least the first 3 of the VWs ought to be able to all clear them before they get to the festival. The question is, Girazzi's coming, and look at that. You can see Sexton feigning over, going, don't. And Girazzi
going to be super tight there, yeah.
Yeah.
But look at the gap that he's managed to pull on Sexton by being a bit aggressive there in traffic.
Yep, exactly. Now Girazzi goes through, and if he parks Powell just a little bit here, and they didn't really park Powell all that much, so now Sexton's got some work to do, Cal. That's probably second and a half or so that he has dropped back. He's going to have to really wheel it here. This is a good battle. This is for 4th. Hertzen, Vincent, and Philippi.
Yeah, and there's that line. Hertzen had to take to the inside. Didn't want to open up the door to his teammate, Nate Vincent. Good little scrap here for the 4th position.
Yep, 3 VWs. Once again, 2 for the FCP Euro by HRD Liqui-Moly team, and then Philippi and that Schmib.com TFB racing entry. Up front, Eversley continues to, and I literally mean this, hang on, because Lewis has been under full attack mode. But you wonder, as close as Lewis has been to the back of that car, if maybe he hasn't used those Pirelli P0s on the front just a little bit. And we will address that when we come back with our CBS Sports Network show. Are you enjoying the return of Pirelli World Challenge to Portland International Raceway? Were you aware of it? Well, all you have to do is follow all the news of the Pirelli World Challenge, and there's a variety of ways to do it. Start by downloading the new Fan app. Go to the Apple App Store or Google Play App Store and search for the PWC Fan app. And, of course, you can also follow along on lots of other social media platforms. On Facebook, just search for PWC Championship. On Twitter, search for @WC Racing. And on Instagram, there's 2 ways to look at it, #PirelliWC or #Pirelli World Challenge. And as always, for all things Pirelli World Challenge, go online to the series website, world-challenge.com. This battle continues to rage at the front, and boy, that time Eversley got up on that curve in that second part. That unsettled him a lot more than it seems to Lewis.
Yeah, well, I think setup-wise, they've certainly been working on that Hyundai to be able to use those curbs a little bit. Ryan tried it there, did not look like his car was quite so compliant, and seemed to lose a little bit of ground to Michael right behind him.
We are now into the final 5 minutes.
Here we
Lewis, this is where he's surprised yesterday. Not quite there
He's
this
thinking
time.
about it,
Yes,
though. You can see there the language. It's like, should I? Decides and thinks about how many minutes are on the board, how many more opportunities does he have. It's important for Hyundai to get those big points for the manufacturer's title and to keep Michael Lewis in this Drivers' Championship chase as well.
And you can see the crews are fully vested as well, obviously. It's a team sport. And you can see the nerves on the pit wall as we're closing in on 4 minutes to go. And you mentioned it a while ago. We just need to, I think, address it one more time. Ooh, and a problem for the 95.
This is
Powell.
Yeah, Sexton is through for the lead. Powell has been off in the festival curves, we believe. Now he's running relatively slowly.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like his engine's on full song, or if he's stuck in a gear maybe. Just doesn't seem to be up on the pipe. Let's take a look here. JT Kupal down to the inside, Sexton to the inside. Just a big lock up there from Eric Powell. He has to take through the escape route. And essentially you've been directed to go through those tire bundles there. He just stays straight but doesn't really gain an advantage on his teammate. Right now it's like he's stuck in a high gear, Greg.
Yeah,
I wonder if he couldn't get the downshift done into the brake zone. That's why he locked up in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Something is wrong, clearly.
Tom O'Gorman will not believe his luck right now as he sees Eric Powell once again slowing down this backstretch just like yesterday. Tomo takes the position with a podium, and with it increases his championship lead.
Yeah, he came into this one with a 17-point margin and looked like he was going to, as you said, lose quite a chunk of those. And now he's going to get that bundle back, and just through the attrition here, he'll now be in third. And the question at this point, I mean, Sexton's way too far down the road. How hard does he go back after Uretsky at this point?
I don't think he's too worried. I mean, that is just a huge moment for him. And for Eric Powell, 3 races in a row now where he's had some misfortune.
Unbelievable. Meanwhile, Eversley, Lewis, into the festival as they work by PJ Gronke's TCA machine. And for TJ, we always have to give him some love because he's got about 40 sponsors that help him. He gets it done in small money segments, so always a big thanks to Tundra Technical Solution, Preston, Rd.8, Comfort Food, so many that he has on that car. And there's Powell into the pits. I wonder, he had that huge bit of lockup, and I think that's a good point. Maybe couldn't use any type of engine braking to help him out. Oh boy, here we go. Eversley coming up in the back. O'Gorman trying to swing out of the way, not get in the way of this battle.
Should be able to clear Uretsky as he gives Eversley a turn signal indicated to go to the left.
Here we go. Yeah, that actually, traffic that time maybe helped Eversley just a little bit. I think more in the sense that Lewis just had to take a much longer line around.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
Yeah, Michael there just looked to the inside, and Uretsky tried to go for his apex, and that has opened up the door for Tomo to go through. Tom O'Gorman, our championship leader, now up to P2.
Again, just probably staggered by the good fortune. What's he doing right in life? Because it's sure good. And watch this here.
Yeah, just one of those moments you're not quite sure what to do, and ultimately Michael went for the gap that wasn't there, nudges the Mazda into a quick half spin. O'Gorman takes to the grass too, but gets the position.
The question for Mosey is, did he get on track before Gronke came through? And the answer is no. So right now, PJ has found himself up into the 4th spot. But the big story, as we were watching O'Gorman, we missed Spencer Patterson, who was not that far behind those guys, Cal, was able to slip by both O'Gorman and Gronke and is now up into 2nd.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Major shuffle. Throw the cards in the air today.
White flag. This time by start finish. What does Lewis have left in the quiver?
If he's got anything, he's going to go for it. And you'd have to think that turn 7 will be his opportunity. But Eversley saw it happen yesterday. You'd have to think he may have to compromise his entry there to not open the door for Michael Lewis.
And I'll tell you, folks, these two guys talk about evenly matched. Everly's at the fastest lap right now, a 19.023. Lewis a 19.080. As the white flag flies, this is it. Last lap. Full-on attack time by Lewis. Full-on defense time by Eversley.
So close. Lewis can really ride those curves and open up his hands and get good exit speed off of turn 2. But Eversley is hitting his marks. The car looks to be more underneath him late in the going than it was here yesterday. The real-time boys have done their work. They've done their setup and given Ryan a great car here for the long run.
It looks like Lewis had such a good run that time. He actually had to check up a little bit at the exit of the festival, and that gave Eversley the lead. If he'd been able to stay closer, this is where Lewis has been magic.
Yeah, and Eversley knew he could just hit his marks, take that wide entry there. Lewis was not close enough.
And that margin is ballooned to a couple of car lengths, now 3 car lengths, 4 car lengths. That Honda Civic Type R TCR has some legs.
Really does. It just seems like the second half of the straightaway, he just gaps the Hyundai, maybe just half a car length, but it's enough to take the pressure off into the brake zones.
Last turn onto the front straight, round 8, the TCR TCA Championship. Ryan Eversley has driven brilliantly, and Honda wins at Portland International Raceway. Huge implications again for a great championship battle, and Eversley elated. You can see the hand pump, and Michael Cooper brings it home on the podium in his first ever appearance in an event in these cars, second race. And here comes Jeff Sexton. Subaru wins, and he repeats it. Look at the battle behind him for second. O'Gorman all over the back of Patterson. Is he going to be able to do anything, Cal?
It's a drag race.
Oh, no. Nice job by Spencer Patterson to hang on. But for Sexton, a sweep of the weekend. Well, we always say you get that first one, the next one comes easier. I don't know that I call it easy. He had to fight that hood pin. A hugely quick teammate. But he made it all come good. And for Spencer Patterson, this is his first podium of the season. And not only a podium, a second place in that Regent Square Reynolds Tech Sport Racing Subaru. So congratulations to him. And Eversley.
I think he's fired up.
Yeah. Wow.
Big day for the championship.
Well, he was pretty lit after the race yesterday, concerned about the traffic and the like. You heard Nathan Bonneau's comments about, we know they've got their races. Well, this day he played it out well. And coming in here with that only a 4-point lead coming into today's race with Wilkins issues, this is huge.
We understand Michael Cooper's incident with the 55 machine will be reviewed post-race, so he finishes on the podium for now.
And into the pits they come. Matt Fosnot following them in after, again, a really quick race. He had a great lap time, just unfortunately had some issues in the race and wasn't able to show in terms of results what he's capable of. But I think he's going to like the performance he's now seeing from that Amarillo Racing Audi.
Yeah, he could be taking it to those powerhouse teams before this season is over. So 4 rounds to go after the checkered flag here today. Championship is starting to wind down. It'll just intensify every weekend.
Into victory circle come the top 2. And, of course, there's Michael Cooper as well for that real-time racing. What a program they have put together in that Honda Civic Type R, sponsored by Honda HPD. And this guy, Ryan Eversley, after having it go a little upside down late in the race yesterday, was not to be denied today. And he's going to celebrate. And along with being a mighty quick driver, you can see the elation he has there. He's always a fun interview. So I think Gino Carini is in with a treat here.
He's so shy.
Yeah, isn't he? Look at that. The celebrations for everybody there. And well earned as well. It was a great drive. There's P.D. Cunningham himself, the legend for Pirelli World Challenge Competition. Nate Bonneau, Cooper. I think Gino's good to lay back. Otherwise, he might get a big sweaty hug as well. They are having some fun. No question of that. And well deserved, certainly. Big smile on Michael Cooper's face. I have a feeling he's enjoying driving these cars.
Yeah, I'd like to see some more race action this season, and maybe they'll do it if they try and chase after Hyundai in the manufacturer points battle.
Yeah, and they've closed that up just a little bit too. So, again, real big news here. And with that, here we go. Hat on, and Gino Carini standing by. Gino, boy, you've got an elated driver there.
Well, this is more work than actually racing, just chasing you down, Ryan. congratulations. Vindication for yesterday. Yeah. Outstanding drive, smooth as silk. But it seemed like in the middle of the race you had a little issue, a little bobbles, came through strong. Tell us about the whole race.
To be honest, I was trying to back up Michael to Cooper, so hopefully my teammate could get some points off the other Hyundai. But how about this Honda Civic, man? That's like 3 poles in a row, 7 podiums or something. I can't remember, but I'm so thankful for everybody on this team not giving up. Yesterday sucked. I was really pissed at the end, but this is a great way to bounce back. We definitely got the points lead going into the next round, and couldn't do it without this awesome reliability of this Honda Civic. Runs all the time. It's perfect. Thanks to Real Time, Petey Cunningham, Nathan Bonneau, everybody at HPD sponsoring this race that we won, and obviously Jazz Motorsports too. Thanks, Art. Thanks, Steve. I know you're watching. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Great job, buddy. Really good job.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, 3rd win, and that is his 6th podium for him personally. Obviously, Cooper would add to that number as well. So pretty impressive stuff as we take a look at the unofficial results for TCR, Eversley Lewis Cooper. But that Hertz and Vincent Filippi battle was a pretty solid one as well.
It was a great battle there for that 4th position between the 2 teammates ultimately, but everyone seems to be on their game this weekend.
And as we take a look at the points, obviously, in the manufacturer battle, Honda took a little bit back and Eversley able to pull it away just a little bit in the driver's point scenario. But let's get right back down to Victory Circle and Gino Carini.
Talk about an emotional race. Up, down, front, back. What a great job. I mean, unfortunate situation for your teammate, but congratulations on your 2nd Pirelli World Challenge win.
Absolutely. It feels so great. Yesterday was my first win, and to make it back-to-back feels amazing. I want to say happy birthday to my dad. His birthday was a few days ago. It's an amazing feeling. I've got to thank TransUnion, Mission Hill Advisors, First Wealth Financial Group, MPI, and Winding Road Racing. Couldn't do it without you guys. And Kurt and Shay, thank you.
So just real quickly, we saw that left corner coming up a little bit. Any concern with that hood? Any drag? Any aerodynamic issues?
Yep, so the whole race, kind of like yesterday, I was kind of sitting back. I didn't make it in the P1 at the beginning, so I was trying to save my tires and also push Eric and make him run his tires off. And the strategy worked. And right when I noticed the hood start to pop up, I said, oh no, I better start to try and make the move now because it was going to be a problem. Thank you,
Congrats,
you too.
Man.
Great race. But yeah, kept the tires. The car was still alive at the very end. It was just the hood. Thank you.
Great job, buddy. You can tell there's no team orders here at Tech Sport, but a great weekend for them.
Oh, that it was. And, I mean, in terms of racing, it was the best race out there. Pass, repass, and sometimes in 2-3 corners, you'd have 2-3 lead changes. Great stuff as we take a look at the unofficial TCA results. And, again, great last lap opportunity by Spencer Patterson to leap in a second. But the big story points-wise, Tom O'Gorman, that grin's not going to end.
Yeah, I know. It just keeps extending that lead with the circumstances here this weekend. Eric Powell, 2-3 races now if we go back to the other championship chase. I mean, he's just on a bit of a run here, a drought in the points, and it's really come to Tom O'Gorman in a big way.
Yeah, that it has. And, again, a shout-out to P.J. Gronke after that frustrating DNF yesterday to be right back into the top 5 and scrapping for a podium. That's great stuff indeed. And when we take a look at the TCA points, we were talking about it, O'Gorman in terms of the driver's points, another big leap. But looking at the manufacturer points, Subaru has extended that out a little bit over Honda once again. And so great day for that manufacturer. And just generally a great day. And the VP Racing Fuels Hard Charger Award goes to the number 79 of Spencer Patterson, up 7 spots during the course of the race. So he came on strong with great speed late in the race and made the most of it. Just fantastic. And I'll tell you, it has been a great 8th round of this Pirelli World Challenge TCR TCA Championship here at the 58th Annual Rose Cup Races at Portland International Raceway, presented by Honda Racing. Next round of the championship, up at some serious elevation in Utah. They're going to have to deal with that as well. This championship continues to be the challenge that it should be. But that wraps things up here from Portland. For Calvin and for Gino and our entire CBS Sports Network crew, I'm Greg Creamer. In association with WC Vision, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.